Okay. Test concluded, and the volume's fine. No thanks to you jerks. Anyway, so you'll notice more stuff's out here. Um, I'm going to talk about a couple of different types of terrain. These are the three that I'm painting. These are the rest of the buildings I got. So here's the farmhouses. I got two of those. One's a little more provincial, I guess, than the other. Yeah. But like this the side part and the chimneys were all uh separately. So you got to add those on there. So it's the double chimney with a little storage shed on the side, and this one has no shed and just the one chimney. It's the regular guy. It's really good detail on the this shitty camera, but it's really good detail on the models. There's really good shutters, nice doors. Some of the shutters are closed, some of them are open. Different types of doors. There's like a wood door in the back and a regular like house door in the front. It's pretty neat. Then I got these are the two townhome type things. So it's the 3 level with the full roof and actually attic areas, lofts, I guess you'd call them, and another chimney. All the separated windows and the chimney were all separate, so you had to glue all those on there, or not at all. You could just have it just the roof. And this one did a lot of work on houses like this back in the day. And we got they're metal too. I put them on the medium sized Flames of War bases. I'm probably gonna take these off of there though because they look fine blank, and it's kind of I don't want to do a basing job for the house because I want to just put the house wherever the house can go. You'll see that I've already set up the table for a game later. So there's some terrain there. See the helicopters are just there because I like looking at them, and see the older farmhouses and some ruins and stuff like that. I haven't decided what I'm going to use. And most likely, definitely going to use, actually, for sure, going to use West Germans because I was actually going to paint some of those on this stream today. So some more building stuff. So these are from the Monster Apocalypse game. I've never played it, but the buildings are essentially 6 millimeter um, ultra style. I guess this is an apartment building, but so is this. So like this would be just a bigger apartment building, or not, or just a big building. Period. This is a painted one I made for. I might just use these guys for BattleTech. This one's on. I put these on. Put this one on hex base. Just glued 4 of them together and stuck this on there and did some basing stuff to it. Looks okay at a distance. Perfect for mechs to climb for mess around with. All the Monster Apocalypse stuff, their bases are clear. I did it just to see what it looked like, but I'm gonna actually paint. I'm gonna put some of this texture stuff on there. More Vallejo stuff. I like Vallejo stuff. I like Vallejo. I mean, I'm gonna put some texture on this to cover up the clear acrylic crap. But yeah, those will be. I'm pretty sure these will just be for BattleTech. I'd grab a mech right now, but I don't want to. So I'm gonna put those over there on the spray table. I gotta spray that other one. Put this one back actually on the shelf because I'm cool and I have a shelf for my stuff. Back to painting. Get some more. Where's it at? Some more red terracotta. I'm performing blasphemy here. I'm using air paints or air paint with a brush. Hope you don't like it. It works for me right now. I feel like I could, like I said earlier in the other video, I could airbrush all of them. But that's loud. I don't want to do it on the video. And also, it's just, a bunch of work to do. So I'd rather just hand paint it. Hand painting's fun. Even if you airbrush it, it's really just for priming or a base coat, and then you still got to hand paint the crap anyway. So just hand paint all of it, especially if it's small 6mm stuff. I should be able to have these 3 buildings done by tonight, and then I'll get them out there on the table and set up a deployment of something. I based up some French recce vehicles as well. Maybe I'll see how long it takes a BMP company to shut those down. I have like 12 or 15 of them. It'd be pretty funny. West Germans. I've just recently noticed that the Battle Scribe on my tablet has access to the files on there. I can grab Team Yankee files. So, and apparently it's been updated as recently as last month. There haven't been any FAQs or anything that I know of for that anytime recently. I will check though. Painting apartment buildings in an apartment building in the city is what I'm doing. I'm modeling these particular apartment buildings after actual apartment buildings I've seen in the Northwest area. Just add, like, I don't know, a heap of feces and trash and like somebody getting stabbed or something. I do have some 6mm civilians, but they're all like Middle Eastern and Asian, like Vietnam civilian type people. So I don't think that'll work well for a diorama type setup there. But I am interested in messing with that. I started messing with some diorama work. I'll pull that piece out here in a minute. I finished painting that this morning. I'm gonna use it for an objective marker or something. It's my I use it as my Wuhan lab. It looks like a research facility, but I've added some stuff to it. So it looks kind of cute. I wish I knew the style of brick this was. It'd sound cool if I would know what I'm talking about. But you know exactly what this is when you see it. It's got the lighter colored brick, lighter colored sandstone brick, bracketing red fucking red terracotta brick. You know what it is. I have to think of some storage solutions for this stuff too, if I take it anywhere. My new mat can roll up. It came with a little bag, a little zip up bag you put it in. It's pretty nice. I have that. I've got boxes for my other terrain and my trees and stuff, but this stuff is actually metal miniatures. These buildings. I have to get like make a little foam case for them. I'm also going to need some mat spray. I have glossy stuff. I might do a gloss finish on top of this before I wash them down, because the wash will bring down the finish, so it's not glossy. It's not super glossy anyway, but it's not matte finish. So there's a very clear difference there. Awesome paint chipped. That was the part I pulled it. This is where I pulled it off of the base. So I had it. So whatever. Maybe I'm just keep that chip there for some weathering. Get some black going on there. More Vallejo. Model color, black. Hard to find. Surprising. Well, I mean, not surprisingly. I used to just always get the Army Painter matte black, but it's literally always sold out every time I go to the store to get some. I don't really want to order paint because I'm fortunate enough to live like really close to 4 or 5 game stores, so it's kind of a dick move to order that kind of stuff when you're really that close. You should support your stores if you have them. I'm lucky enough to have a bunch. Some black hair. Use a dry palette for right now. You only need a drop anyway. It's fine. I'm sure I'll use all of this. Some black on there where the chip is. Cover it up. Some more red on there. This will be the second side done. Fill in where the chip is a little more. I'm gonna look up some graffiti from like the 80s to put on the sides of these. A couple of these. Some probably be looking at a lot of pictures of Berlin. Saw one guy he built up a 15 millimeter version of the Berlin Wall for his table. Looks really good. Looks like that one of these windowsills is missing. Yes, one of these windows doesn't have a windowsill. Okay. Really good stuff otherwise though. You will have to build it if you didn't watch the first video. These come in they're pewter and they come in several pieces that you have to put together. It's not a lot, but it's not nothing. You can't just buy these and slap some paint on them. You got to build it first, which is kind of cool. Get some of the top brick. You're gonna have to do some filing as well. Some of these were wildly misshapen when they showed up. But still, it is GHQ quality though. If you know their miniatures, their buildings are to the same standard. If you were wondering about it or not, some of the stuff I feel like it is resin. There's a couple Russian style house like farmhouses they have. I'm pretty sure those are Russian. Those are single piece resin buildings. But I mean, it's just going to be cooler if they're metal. I actually really like that these are metal. The only thing is, again, you have to put them together, and I was talking earlier, I'm going to need some kind of storage solution for these if when I ever take them out of the house. Currently, not really going out of the house right now due to reasons, obviously. If you're a war gamer, though, you don't really have to. You don't fucking have to go anywhere, so that's pretty sweet. It is a hobby sort of based around getting together with other people, but I mean, you don't have to. There's all kinds of crap you can do if you're a war gamer. You can paint, you can build, you can write, you could play by yourself if you're into that. I do it a lot. All the games on here are me playing against myself. You can just find a decent rule set that allows for that. Cold War Commander is really good for solo games because it's a command and control game. If you don't roll well and if you don't roll good enough, you're that piece isn't going to do anything. So you're just rolling dice against yourself. But you get to play with all your toys, so that's nice. That's the cool part. I think I'm gonna put like a different lighter colored brick in this chipped area. It'll really come out when I wash it down. 4 o'clock. I've got 1 hour. Then I gotta go, but I'll be back. Let's drop some water on this spot of black paint that I was using for a minute. Just keep it going. Not sure what I'm gonna do with these windows. I'm gonna keep them blacked out for now. Thinking maybe doing some object source lighting on one window. Have like one window open like the top floor or something. That might be neat. Wonder how you do that to make it look like a lamp was on the inside. On the inside, looking out, like the light would be protruding from the window, but it's a solid piece of metal that you have with texture that you have to like make that happen with. I did OSL once on a plasma gun for a Space Marine. It looked okay, but that's slightly bigger scale, drastically different scale. If these were plastic, you could maybe get away with like a LED type thing. But these are really small to make out of plastic. You can't do that. The detail alone would make me think that you can't do this with plastic at this size. They'd need to be like 8 to 10 millimeter. Another if you play any 6 millimeter sci-fi games, you should definitely check out the other Monster Apocalypse buildings. Some of those are like really cool looking. They have a really neat satellite array building and some futuristic looking like skyscrapers that are the size of those other ones I showed you earlier. These guys, they're about as tall, if not taller, and proportionate to that. Like there's the door, there's the front door right there. It's really small, but it's perfect for 6 millimeter. If you're playing again, if you're playing sci-fi games, the Monster Apocalypse stuff is great. You don't even need to keep the base that it comes with. Just put it on whatever base you want. Paint them up, get to town. I can't wait till all three of these are done. The terrain really makes the game. I don't know what may I think it's probably just me. I don't know. I know a lot of people think that way also, but it's a really big part of it. Even at 6 millimeter, like you need you need actual buildings and stuff, ground effects. I'm working on some fences right now. Also, I need to spray these. So I got two of these type wall things for the for the farmlands, or I could just use them as Jersey walls. If I might paint them up like stone for Jersey walls. Put them like my roads. I do need like a highway type system to necessitate these big buildings. It's kind of like a small suburban town type scale that I have going on. I want bigger buildings and more ruins though. Work on some ruined sections next. I'm gonna try to get some. I need to make a base for it though, so make like a 12 by 12 inch square foam board, and then texture it, build up on some areas, and leave areas for buildings to be put on. That might be cool. Or I might do some felt and just rubberize the top of it, like cut it in shapes, rubberize the top of it and texture it, put some gravel and whatnot on there. And for this World War III type stuff, the roads really make the table as well. The roads are a big part of the immersion for me. World War II, you can use dirt roads and be fine. But this game, it's supposed to be taking place in the 80s, is when it starts in the novel, 1985 to be exact. 1985 was kind of a cool time. It was also a well developed time. So everything was well developed. There were streets, corners, and buildings, lamp posts, fucking libraries and shit. Movie theaters, fast food joints. I'm gonna get a couple of those too. I've seen a couple of 6 millimeter restaurant type buildings. I'm gonna get. They make all the stuff for 15 millimeter for Battlefront, and I have some of it, but it's a little pricey, and I would rather just have it in 6 millimeter since I have much of that stuff anyway. I have enough for one table of 15 millimeter stuff, and that's all you need. I'm guilty of the playing the car park version of this game, but really for the infantry. The infantry really make that game for me. The 15 millimeter version. Painting them and then fielding them too is the tactics involved with using the infantry in that game in particular is pleasing. To say the least. Time check. I think, but it's like 4:15 or something. 4:10. I'm smart. Goddamn fans going nuts in that computer. It's just YouTube, guy. Calm down. This might be a good way to get all this crap done. If I leave the video going, I'll feel like I'm forced to fucking do this because it's a video. It's not just me sitting here alone. With attention spans as they are, I can only really do this for a couple hours at a time when I'm just sitting by myself. I was way into it way earlier on, like 5 years ago. Way more into it, rather. I still like it a lot, but I don't paint as much as I used to. I kind of paint what I need to use for a game, and that's it. If I have a particular bigger game with a lot of people involved, which obviously isn't happening now, I'll paint a little more stuff. Paint some terrain. Just to have it ready for that game. Just to have it ready for that game. I don't like showing up to a planned game with nothing painted. It's kind of a dick move. Okay, so that's 4 sides or 5 sides. Done with the red. So I gotta go back over the corners with black, pick out the corner brick, and then go over the brick with the sandstone color that I have. That's gonna be for paint. It's just a bone color, like a sand bone. We're changing colors, which means we got to go to the brush cleaner. $4 years old, this bottle is. There's about a third of the bottle left just because of evaporation and stuff, whatever. Tipped it once. But it's still going good, and it works great. Really only need a little bit, so that's probably why I have so much of it left, even after things happening. But it keeps these shitty brushes really good. These are mid level brushes. but they're not like the fancy guys. I like them though, and I keep them clean, like he said. Bonus points if you got the joke. If you don't, whatever. Watch TV. Watch more TV. That. Now we can do some black corners. I'm gonna do this. Now remembering why the first one turned out better. It's because I wasn't touching the corner the whole time. So I'm going to blue tack this to a base so I can use the paint handle. Okay. Do this and some of that. And Wicked Chow, you have yourself a paint handle. Use the other one. This stuff's awesome. This blue tack. I use it for everything. Mix this black with the water that I put on it, and it's fine. It's good to go. Tap, tap, tap. Drives my wife crazy when she's in here. Probably can't hear it that much because the TV would be on and all that stuff, but the incessant tapping I know is annoying. I would be annoyed. Picking the break out pretty good there. This is perfect open window weather as well, so I'll definitely be using the airbrush later. So I can use it with the window open. Usually have to have like a fan set up or something to keep this stuff from like going in up your nose. It's pretty gross. I use a face mask, but it doesn't really stop it all the way. You still end up with some schmutz in your throat, especially if you're like cleaning a bunch. I tend to when I use it, I use it for I'll be airbrushing for probably like an hour and a half straight, just base coating stuff. So I need plenty of ventilation for that. I really like these tri-cornered brushes. It's a little really easy to grip them and do straight lines. If you need to do straight lines, these tri-cornered ones are perfect for that. Side note on the Monster Apocalypse stuff is they're relatively cheap. They're about 10, $12. Sometimes as much as $20 for like a bigger piece, but um, they're all of those are they're usually on sale because it's an older game that's not really supported that much anymore. There's some new models, but it's a Privateer Press game. I don't really know what those guys are doing right now anymore. I tried War Machine for like 10 minutes. Wasn't interested. The models aren't cool enough. When they're all together and stuff, like it's kind of neat, but not for me. I don't like the whole steampunk thing that much. Not enough to paint a whole army of it, much less play a whole game based on it. Just one more corner. Go back over that. 420, you know what to do. Yes, it's the basic outline there. So you got the side bricks. So I did the corners and all in black again. Went back over them over the primed areas with a more solid black. And I'm gonna go back over those areas with the sandstone. Then you can wash it all. That's the magic part. Changing colors means you need brush cleaner, just like when you're using an airbrush. Brush game is on fleek. Actually, I'm gonna wash this one while we're at it. So I'll be switching back and forth. Good to go. Good to go. We need some more blue tack though. the other corner. Like that. Yeah. All right. So this is from the Reaper Paints horror set. Benthalion Chitin. Whatever the fuck that means. It's fucking sandstone. I only know that because I have actual sandstone from GW or Vallejo, one of those, and I put it next to it, and it's the same shit. These paints are all really a scam, you know. Just find the color you like, make it work. Use washes. Use blending. Wet blending's kind of neat if you figure out how to do it. I can only do it on bigger models though, and usually if they have capes or something. You know, Space Marines love their capes. What is that one? This one has the better tip. It's more pointed. The other one's like flat. It's small, but it's more flat than pointy. This one's small and also pointy. Fine tip series. Definitely gonna need to add water to that stuff. It thickened the Reaper paints that I have. They thicken up pretty fast. But again, I usually use wet palettes. I mean, as of this year, they don't thicken up nearly as much as they used to. This part you have to be careful with because you're painting the black brick. Every other one overlaps into the red part of the brick. And you have to make it clean for when you wash it down. It's really going to show up and look like shit if it's dirt, if it's messy. So make it look right. Don't worry about dry brush in the corner because you got washes. And again, I'm going to do the gloss varnish over this before I wash it down and see what happens. The other one I didn't do anything to, so I'm just going to have to let that one be as it is. But going forward, I'm going to try that. See if I can bring down that gloss with a wash. And so that I won't need to buy matte finish or a new bottle of it. I can just use the shit I have. You kind of see how it's forming up. It's not an HD camera. It's better than a phone camera. So you're not going to see that much detail. The setup's really for me to do battle reports where you can see the whole table and stuff, you know, doing things. And me pointing at stuff. I have to figure out a way to keep this mic this close for when I do the battle report also. I don't want to pre-record it and talk about it later, even though that is a way to do it. I'd rather just get it done in real time. No muss, no fuss. I have some production elements I need to work on as well. I got a new track from a buddy down the street at Human Studios. I got a track to put under my gave me a track to use for my under the video stuff. So that'll be neat. It won't just be nothing. It'll have an ambient sound effect in the background. It's pretty neat. It's good stuff. He's a big fan of Plague Marines and stuff like that. It's got that kind of feel to it. It's be like like grim industrial type stuff. Sounds pretty good. I don't really mess with that type of stuff anymore. This is much more fulfilling. Almost done with this. Motherfucker. It's all good. It's fine. They're metal. Didn't even chip anything. Yeah. I'll wash this thing off a little bit. Not changing colors, but that paint is particularly thick considering, so just want to make sure it gets out of the brushes every so often, every so often. The GHQ buildings are about $6 or $7 as well per. It's not too bad. So you want to make sure you buy at least 2 or 3 to justify the shipping. So spend like $20 or so. Get out of here, Norton. Streaming here. Norton wanted to let me know that everything's protected, guys. Thanks, Norton. Again, get the fuck out of my face. I'm fucking streaming here. You should not be allowed to put stuff up here while I'm streaming. My poor little fan can only handle so much. Okay, so that's one side corner done. I'll work on the rest. I'll go ahead and call it here. This paint's almost gone. I don't really want to pour any more without using the proper things. I want people freaking out, wasting paint and all that stuff. Plus, I can paint for longer with that sitting here. Not have to worry about changing too much. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back later this evening with the deployment for West Germans versus the Warsaw Pact.